Welcome, welcome, welcome to the new stuff training for feat 17246, support for multimode replication for all combinations as a part of the NCI 7.5 release. Many enterprise customers, especially large financial institutions, have a huge need to build multiple resilient infrastructures to support their entity-centric workloads with flexible combinations of RPO, sources and targets, as well as number of copies of data. We have already provided support for Sync Async Multisite DR from AOS 6.81 and PC 2024.2 onwards, and Sync NearSync Multisite DR from AOS 7.3 onwards. But we only supported 3 replication locations, 1 source and 2 remotes. With this feat, we will support 4 replication locations, 1 source plus 3 remotes, to allow more flexible DR combinations. In addition, we will also support more than 1 NearSync replication target and a protection policy from this feat onward. So as far as caveats go, for version compatibility, all PCs and PEs that are participating in this multi-site need to be at AOS 7.5 or later. As far as limitations go, up to 4 replication locations are allowed, and that includes both source and targets. So obviously you have to have a source, so there's 1 replication location, and then we can support 3 additionals. The sync schedules are still capped at 1, so only 1 sync schedule allowed and a protection policy. However, new with this feature is now up to 2 NearSync schedules per protection policy are allowed. So now I can do A to B NearSync, A to C NearSync. That's a new feature or a new part of this feature. Next, we can't add local schedules on clusters which are in synchronous replication. So that's still not supported. And then last, if a customer only has 1 PC, we're going to block the all cluster selection when you're selecting your replication targets on the source side, as well as the auto select function on the remote only. It's just a confusing thing, so we're just going to block that when using a single PC. So a few more caveats. In a multi-site policy, something like A to B and A to C, if A to B is synchronous, if you don't specify B to C as a part of this, when you fail over from A to B, the VMs in B will not be protected. So remember, when you configure a policy or when your customers configure policies, it's important to configure not only A to B and A to C, but also B to C. And what happens is once the workloads from A will fail over to B, they will automatically be protected because the policy has already been configured. Next, we still will not allow for a planned failover to an asynchronous or near synchronous remote while SyncRep is active. And the reason we do that is essentially we always feel that the customer would want to fail over to the synchronous side, which is essentially in lockstep with the source. If for whatever reason they want to fail over to the asynchronous side, the process is to essentially disallow or take out the VMs from the sync policy. And then basically that will stop synchronous replication for those VMs and then fail over to the asynchronous side. But it's not a super common use case, but there are reasons why folks would want to do it. And that's the current process in order to facilitate that. But we don't allow it as part of a fancy like one-click operation today. And lastly, all existing limitations for both SyncRep and NearSync are still applicable. So the ones that I mentioned are in addition to what's listed in the links that I provided here. So just a quick summary again. In NCI 7.5, we are now allowing 4 replication locations. So that's, again, 1 source and 3 targets or remotes. Also, with this feature in this release, we'll also now support 2 NearSync schedules in the same protection policy. For version compatibility, we require a minimum version of AOS 7.5 along with PC 7.5. For licensing, Async requires NCI Pro. All others will require NCI Pro plus Advanced Replication or NCI Ultimate, and that's purely based on what combinations of multi-site are in use. For hypervisors, we require or we support ESX and AHV. This is supported on any platform. There's currently no Sizer support for this feature, but it's being discussed with the Sizer team, and this will happen post-launch. And then this feature will be generally available once 7.5 is shipping. This has been the new stuff for feet 17246, support for multimode replication for all combinations. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for spending part of your day with me.